12 years in that division, and they're out.
Hey guys, welcome back to SEADOGS Can Fly. This is episode 29, season 6, and it's a merry season indeed. The SEADOGS sit top of the table just after Christmas, and we are on 61 points, 1 draw, 2 defeats. Fantastic start. I could never have even dreamed that we'd be able to do this after so many consecutive promotions. Saltella, the class of 2020, false 9, has been fantastic. He's second top goal scorer. Jointly with Ryan Williams, again from the class of 2020, he's playing the advanced forward role. And Angel Gomez, who we brought in the other season, sits pretty on 9 assists. Today's episode will feature 2 live con games, and in all honesty I'm kicking myself a little bit because I've just played the West Brom game, who was sitting 3rd. In hindsight I should have shown that live, but we've got Newcastle at home, 2nd place Newcastle, before coming away to Preston, where you're going to see a few of the newer players. But before we jump into those games, let's get you caught up on a couple of things. We have made a couple of free transfers. The reason for that is to try and boost my mentoring ability. Basically, you get older players with really good personalities, and they can pass those personalities, or at least the traits of the personalities, on to the younger players within the team. So we've got Newcastle, who is 33 and absolutely useless, but he's got a resolute personality. That's a really good personality to have. Likewise, I've signed Amadou Dia. He's a goalkeeper, he's only 25, but again, model professional. That's a fantastic personality and very hard one to come by, so I'm hoping he can pass that on to some of the youngsters. Unfortunately, as you can see here, Amadou Dia is only light on his influence, and Newcastle is average. So that's not too bad. Newcastle should have an impact on them, and Dia should have a very small impact. They've not yet gone into the social groups, so we'll have to wait and see where they end up to see which players they may be able to influence. But add those players to the few that we signed earlier in the season and last season to try and boost that side of the game. I'm hoping they can have a big influence. Talking of the kids, let's have a really quick look and see how they're all getting on. So, Andre Roxo, who's one of my biggest hopes, he's developing really nicely indeed. Stats have gone up quite a bit. I've given him 1 game and he's done really well in the reserves. Grasser's done reasonably well. He's improving nicely. Georges Pontes, he's now down as our hot prospect, and he's definitely improved. Probably needs to increase that development spike, but he has played 1 game and played reasonably well. Luis Curto's done really well. His attributes have gone up massively, mainly down to the fact he scored 19 goals from 18 in the youth team. So high hopes for him. Seraphim likewise, Rui Seraphim, love this kid. I think he's going to be a real good all-rounder for us as an advanced playmaker. And he's done pretty well in the youth team, getting 8 assists from 18 games. We sent Steve Roberts out on loan. I'm hoping that the game time's going to help his improvement. It has done so far. He's playing in League 2. And Razzo's actually been on the bench for us. Gabriel Razzo, you may remember we signed him at the start of the season for like 40k or something. That's virtually nothing. With a determined personality, he should reach that potential. I'm starting to think it's maybe not as high as these star ratings suggest, just with the way he has developed, but he has got costly attributes within the mix there. Determination, acceleration, pace, even agility and finishing are all quite costly for a striker, which means it takes away from his overall capacity to be able to improve other attributes. And another addition to the kids is going to be Marcello. He plays striker, but he could play all the way across attacking midfield. That's something I like, the versatility, good work rate, finishing speed, ticks a lot of boxes for me. Bit of a risk, we haven't been able to scout him, and I'm not 100% certain he is a great player. However, an ambitious personality is already a good sign, and if looking at his information, they reckon he could be the next Jairzinho. If he's anywhere near that type of ability, this kid's going to be brilliant. Unfortunately, he's not eligible in any other country other than Brazil, so I'm going to have to get him a work permit, but there's ways and means around that. Generally, I'll send them off to Spain to try and gain that. And as for how the finances are doing with all these signings we've been making, we've not spent a lot of money, but we have thrown money back into the academy. We now have excellent youth level, youth facilities, and I believe also junior coaching, which is really good going towards your youth recruitment. Our youth recruitment is fully established now, and we've got very good training facilities as well as the stadium's been expanded to 6,000 seats. So we spent a lot of that money we got in from the Hurst transfer, the Blackman transfer, on those facilities. That's why we're 1.7 million in the red. Not going to matter, because if we go up this season, which we certainly should do, though, that sort of money is going to mean absolutely nothing, and we'll have paid off almost all of our transfers by then as well. I should still be getting loads of money back from Hurst and Blackman, as well as some percentage fees if they do sell on, but we've got opportunity to sell some players here if I need to. As you can see, Lejure's wanted by Leicester. Etzabe is wanted by a whole host of Premier League clubs, which would suggest to me the right back is Premier League quality. Delaney's even wanted by Brighton and Watford. The list goes on. There's so many players that are wanted by big clubs. I'm going to have to try and stave them off, and it's the 26th of December, so January's just around the corner. Right, let's quickly jump into the schedule and see what's happened since you last joined me. So we left off beating Newcastle 2-1 away from home. That's who we're playing today, but we're going to be at home this time. We then thrashed Middlesbrough 4-1 before, off camera, Huddersfield beat us on penalties in the EFL Cup. We were quite unlucky in that game. We followed that up with a 3-1 victory over Preston. Really easy performance. Grasso and Gomez looking really good in that match before we came up against Hull City. A game which featured two stunning goals, including this Rob Gale strike from the edge of the area, and then Bowden came up with a cracking header at the end of a lovely little team move. We then came up against Oxford City. We won that game 4-1. Louis Barry scoring in the first minute, David Salmon in the 9th, and then Tezar scored the most outrageous strike. Really great to see the advanced playmaker getting involved with the score sheet. He's not done it enough yet this season, and Yusuga scored a great goal at the end there as well. Aston Villa were dispatched 3-1 away from home. That performance was capped off by Willem Jebels. He started the move off and he finished it off in a swift counter-attack in the 88th minute. We then came up against Bristol City and we lost 3-1 away from home. Bit of an awkward match, to be honest. We had 20 shots, 11 on target. They had 20 shots, 11 on target. We only had 15 and 6 on target. I was playing a weakened 11, but I would have expected a little bit better than that. Bounced back though, we beat Huddersfield 4-0 away from home before thrashing Sunderland at home 4-0. Really cracking performance this. We had 36 shots, 19 on target. Sunderland barely had a sniff, and the goals were fantastic. Such a swift counter-attacking move here from Gomez, with Williams tucking away into the bottom corner. Before the next goal was a wonderful little team move. There's loads of skill involved there. Gut with the little back heel, chipped in and headed home. Wonderful to see Saltella getting on the score sheet. We then beat Nottingham Forest 4-0 at home. Another really good performance. 28 shots, 15 on target. They barely had a sniff again. Yusuga scored what I think will be the goal of the season. Check this one out. Dribbled from inside of his own half and then just found the top corner. What an absolute blinder of a goal. If you have a quick look at this kid's profile, he's going to go such a long way. He's already developed really nicely. Those physicals are going to be mental. He's 5'7", so he's quite small, but I'm not too faffed about that because I think he's going to be more of a skilled player anyway. Either way, really excited. 6 goals, 4 assists from 8 starts. He's had quite a few appearances off the bench already, but he should be a cracking little player. And that brings us nicely onto the Newcastle game. We won the first game at their place 2-1. We're now at home, favourites, and I'm going to go quite attacking. They're missing Sam Cook, who's out with a pulled knee ligament. Their best player by quite a bit, but they are going to be fielding Fiet Arp up front, so that's going to be a tough one to come up against. They're going to play that tiki-taka style, probably with a cautious mentality like they did before, but because we're at home, I fancy our chances. As for the Scarborough lineup, Delaney is coming back. He just needs a bit more fitness. He's been injured for about a month. We are missing Gale, unfortunately. Like I mentioned, we're also missing Warburton. He's out for the next couple of weeks. Had a couple of issues with injury here and there, but nothing too severe. Salmon's going to come in along with Tezar. Tezar's played really well, so I think he deserves more first-team opportunities. And we're going to stick with Grasso on the left, our main wonder kid at the moment, with Gomez, our top assister, on the right. Williams is going to play up front as the advanced forward, along with Saltella, the false 9. Right, let's kick this game off, guys. There's no point in dilly-dallying around. Etzabe is playing at right back, by the way. We do have Bowman, who's probably more experienced, but I feel like Etzabe has the speed to deal with what will be coming up against Newcastle. Alzate swings the ball out wide to Corona. Pulls it infield. Longstaff tried the long shot. Alzate picks up the pieces. Over the top to Lainez, the winger. He gets it to Laird, the full-back, who passes back in. Lainez again. We're dealing with this reasonably well, but we're giving away a penalty. Not reasonably well at all. What a nightmare. Tezar, come on, save it. He scores. Fiat Arp puts Newcastle 1-0 up. Well, we may well be suffering the consequences of going with that attacking mentality. Cautious worked so well in the first game against them when we were away from home. We did that for the reason that we knew they were going to play cautious and we knew they had a really good team to come up against. Probably shouldn't have been so stubborn with sticking with my attacking mentality, but we've got plenty of the game left. Let's see if a team talk at half time can lift the lads. I've already done a shout of demand more. We'll just have to see how we get on. Gomez picks up the ball, brings it forward, and the ex-Manchester United winger scores an absolute screamer. 6th goal of the season, set up nicely by the right back at Zabe, who didn't have to do an awful lot in fairness, but look at this for a strike. Pick that out. Brilliant. That's what you need, a big player in big moments. Ball comes in and somehow it's squeezed through to Georges Grasso, and we are 2-1 ahead from being 1-0 down. That's his 6th goal of the season. Zabe is doing pretty well with the long throws this season, but that was horrific defending for Grasso to cut inside. No one else reacted, but Grasso, great for him to get on the score sheet, and that puts us 2-1 up. So going into half time, I'm quietly confident here. If we can win this game, we will end up having a 15-point gap at the top of the championship. And in all honesty, even though it's still very early in the season, it's going to be hard for anyone to close that gap, surely. Well, it's been a really uneventful half. I'm going to bring David Salmon off, though, because I'm not sure if the main man, Gale, is going to be ready for the next game. We're also going to bring off a striker, Ryan Williams. I think I'll probably bring on Razzo, because he's got a lot of speed, so in behind he could do quite well. And Grasso's on a booking, as well as looking a little bit tired, so we'll bring him off also. Barry would have probably been the preferred choice as advanced forward, coming on for Williams, but I think Grasso deserves his opportunity. He's developed really nicely in training, so we'll just see how the young Frenchman gets on. Another corner as the clock ticks down towards full time. 86th minute, another chance, another one missed, but at 2-1 I think we're safe here. Newcastle have had 9 shots, 4 on target, a few chances, but we've had 3 clear-cut chances. We've had 20 shots and we've dominated that game. Definitely deserved the victory. You could say fortuitous goal to get started with Gomez, but it was pure class really. And I've just cocked up the team talks. I'm talking too much, but luckily they haven't reacted too badly. And let's come back, shall we, for the Preston game. So on to Deepdale, guys. We're 5-2 on to win this game. Got a better head-to-head record, winning 5, only drawing 1 and losing none. Preston are quite a negative team. They'll probably play a 4-1-4-1, and we have switched the team around. I just need to adjust the strikers now. I haven't quite done that yet. Bowden's going to come in, and so is Louis Barry. I always say that it's important to switch your team on a regular basis. Sometimes the opposition will work your tactic out and they'll start setting team and player instructions to nullify certain threats. If you keep switching your team, it can throw them off and at least extend the amount of time a system works for. Like I say, we've got a few injuries. Willem Jebels has been added to that list now, so he's not going to make the bench, but I'm pretty happy with that squad. Pontes at left back is only 17, one of our new kids who we've been speaking about. Likewise, Roxo, again, another 17-year-old. Both very low attributes for this sort of level, but I want to see how they may perform in a game that doesn't mean an awful lot. We have just beaten Newcastle. We've got a 15-point lead at the top of the table. So in all reality, this one loss is only going to dampen very slightly our morale. But hopefully that won't happen at all and we'll come away with a victory or at least a decent draw. As Gilmore brings the ball forward and Dummett, Newcastle player, from the left-back position. Well headed out by Pontes, never doubt putting him in the team. Ramsey picks up the ball, Ledson. Lots of ex-Premier League players here, youngsters. Guts back to Roxo, chipped over the top to Barry, well brought down. Lacour's in behind the Frenchman. He's very inconsistent, but he's won as a penalty there. Now can Patrick Gut convert? The advanced playmaker, the young Stallion is only 18 and 19. Easy, never in doubt. Bottom corner, 2nd goal of the season for the kid. We have another highlight with Lacour picking the ball up on the right wing, but Lara's intercepted the crossfield pass and he's a bit crowded out, but I'm not quite sure what he's doing there. Just gives the ball away to Usuga. Jarman onto Pontes, the left back. Working the ball back to Jarman, who chips forward to Bowden. That's a lovely little pass and a stunning find for Barry, who misses but wins us a corner. Bowden's really good with his vision, long shots and his passing and technique. Very, very good from that false nine role. I think he could be Premier League quality in a year or two. As Gut picks up the ball in the corner, but he can only give it back to Clark Harris, who brings it forward for Preston. Working the ball outside. We've got players getting back as Ramsey swings one in and it's out for a goal kick. We've given away a free kick here, guys. I think it was Bowman who made the tackle. And generally, FM shows highlights like that when they're going to score. Harvey Gilmore scores his second of the season. That's 1-1. Bit of a naive tackle from Bowman, but 1-1 isn't too bad. We'll get him in at half-time and see if a team talk can sort things out. I'm not actually going to wait till half-time for team talk. I think I'm just going to demand more here because I don't want the game to finish with another highlight for Preston. There's one here though. Lacour brings the ball forward from the right wing, cuts onto his favoured foot, and a great pass to Usuga, who has the technique and the audacity just to slide the ball side-footed under Rudd's body. Well, 2-1 up at half-time. Brilliant goal there from Suga and a well-earned penalty by Lacour, dispatched nicely by Gut. So it takes us into the second half 2-1 up. Happy with that. Preston have had 3 shots, 1 on target. Barely any chances really, and we've been the dominant team as Bowman picks up the long throw, but Rudd is never going to get caught out there, the ex-Norwich goalkeeper. Another highlight here is the ball's been kicked back to Bowman, the right back. Roxo picks up the pass. Chips forward, Bowden is in behind, terrible defending from Preston, but Bowden does not have the composure to finish from there. With 5 minutes left, I've told the lads to get creative, so hopefully that'll just give them a little bit of a boost. I think we've given away a penalty there. Bollocks, yeah. George Jarman has given away the penalty. Right, as soon as this goes off, we're going to tell them to push forward. And they scored. No surprises there. Barkhuizen scores for Preston. Come on, get this highlight over. There we are. Right, so tell them to push forward. And we're going to go very attacking. And as a final thing, let's jump into here. I want to hit early crosses, shoot on sight. And where's my defensive line? Let's get that up a little bit higher. There we go. We're going to go for it. We may as well. Top clock is ticking down. We've only got a couple of minutes left. We've got one more highlight here. Can we get something from the long throw? We should have loads of bodies in the box as Bowman launches it in and he's offside. George Grasso disallowed for offside in the 94th plus 18 seconds. And that's the match. 2-2. Well, considering how young that side was that we fielded, how did they perform, the kids? Pontes got a 6.6, Razzo got a 6.9, so he didn't really do anything wrong. It's not a terrible result in all fairness. We said we were taking a risk in doing it. I'll probably have to learn from that and maybe keep developing those kids in the youth teams for now. But we're still on 65 points. Newcastle have gained back the win that we got against them, but we still got a 13-point cushion at the top of the championship. And one other thing that I did forget to tell you guys is that I had a youth intake report come through around Christmas time which suggested we could be getting a golden generation of players. I'm yet to see one. I've not seen it yet on this FM, but we have invested very heavily in all of the facilities, so I'm quite excited to see in the next episode exactly what that means. Right, boys, that about sums it all up. So, top of the table, absolutely flying. Got to be in the Premier League next season, which would make it 6 consecutive promotions. There's loads of guides in the description for you guys to go and look at, from how I scout, to finding new gens, to personality traits and shouts, all sorts of stuff, as well as tactics. So have a look in there if you want to get any. And I'll see you very, very soon for the next episode, which is going to be really close to the end of the season, I would have thought. Subscribe. Click the alert button, hit the like button if you enjoyed this, all that jazz will be much appreciated, and thank you so much for the support. See you later, guys.